and Waterview. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking.
And will John Peters follow him? Oh, we were really losing the balance there. That will have scrubbed so much speed off for Drogba, and Team Blue Rising right there on his tail. He is riding on the back of that boat and wanting to get in front of Micah.
We have 3 of the top 4 in the championship in this race. Rafa, Aoki and TBR there in second place, Team Blue Rising. Only 3 in this race will go through to the final. This is critical for the outcome of E1 and the overall championship in 2025. There we go then with our first short lap, Shelley, and it is Drogba. Rafa are following suit. Let's see what Blue Rising do. On the far left of your screen, it looks like they're going for the long lap. They certainly are. So different strategies coming into play already.
Yeah, that's an interesting one with Team Blue Rising going straight out onto their long lap. That could be a good move. It'll be interesting to see what the computer works out halfway through the race, if that's going to help them or not. So yes, it's going to put Team Blue Rising at the back of the field, or no, well, 4th place. Then a lot more still to play with. That could be quite a good strategy.
These are the average times, how much you will lose for doing a long lap or gain for a short lap, based on what we've seen so far. The results predictor, I wouldn't want to be the results predictor, because look how things are changing before our very eyes as Alula loses a spot there to Drogba. So you can keep tabs on who's done what at the top of your screen. Alula actually are going a lap down already, and they haven't even done the long lap yet. So that's just Nerea Marti getting used to E1. Excuse the pun, but very much thrown in at the deep end. The Spanish racing driver who is subbing this weekend for Katie Munnings, who's busy with Extreme E/Extreme H duties over in Saudi Arabia. Drogba with the advantage, and they've done a short lap already. We look down from our virtual tracker. Rafa are second, ditto for them. They each have a long lap still to go. Alula third on the water, but out of contention, they're a lap down. So Aoki are third. They haven't done a short or long lap, but it remains that way as Meshael Alabadan goes through the usual race lap. Blue Rising, they're looking strong to at least jump Aoki, because JP, John Peters, the American, has already done his long lap. Here they come to put a lap on Alula. So I'm going to keep a close eye on the timing screen, Shelley, to see what happens as we pass the Black Diamond Hotel. There's a great crowd as well watching on here. The turnout we've seen just off the Gulf of Guinea here in the lower part of the North Atlantic has been incredible. Depending on where you look for the information, there's anything between 21 and 24 million people living here in Lagos, the most populous part of Africa without doubt, well over double the population of London. Looking back again at Alula, obviously off the pace. I think it's a combination, without being too hard on Nerea, that she's obviously learning, but perhaps a problem at the same time. But how is Peters getting on? Okay, he's done his long lap, so he should be able to jump, I think, at least Aoki. As Rafa then now at the bottom of your screen come through for their long lap. So this guess, I guess now, Shelley, with Micah Wilkinson leading for Drogba in front of Didier Drogba himself here in Nigeria. This is where they really need to get the hammer down now, because Micah still needs to do his long lap. Aoki moving ahead, but only temporarily, of Rafa, because they still have their long lap to go.
Michelle has just done her short lap, so that's pushed her up as well. So that was good.
And on board with her now as we come down towards the left-hander of turn 1. There you can see Drogba there off to your left-hand side leading. John Peters still has a short lap to do, so that's going to be very interesting indeed. He may well jump Rafa, and this is going to be so important, isn't it, for 3 of the teams who are in the top 4 of the championship. Only 3 from this race will move through to the final, for which Brady and Brazil have already qualified. And incidentally, if you are just joining us, it's been a dramatic weekend. Brady, as we talked to, have the fastest lap of the weekend, which provisionally puts them equal at the top of the championship with Rafa. It is changing almost by the lap. We are back with Drogba, Micah Wilkinson from New Zealand, and he's coming around the standard lap again. So we're now coming into the 6th and final lap, Shelley, so he'll have to take the long lap on the very last run.
Yeah, which not sure that would be a great move.
Oh, and look at Blue Rising and Aoki absolutely locked together. Sorry for shouting in your ears there, Shelley, but Blue Rising on the left, Aoki closest to the cameras. We look down from the hotel, and this is all for position on the water, but that pink and blue boat there still needs to do the long lap. So clearly now, as you can see, John Peters is up to second. So the question is, he's 6.5 seconds behind Wilkinson for Drogba, but Drogba still need to do their long lap. So I think John Peters might be in a good position to actually come through and win this race off. What do you reckon?
Well, yes, but I was confused then because somebody said, I thought it was to Machel, standard lap, but she can't. She has to do her long lap. I hope I misheard that.
Well, I hope you did as well, because they did have some communication issues, didn't they, yesterday? And we heard Michael on the team radio for the live YouTube stream getting quite frustrated with the team. So now you'll see the yellow flashes of Drogba going around the long lap, and it's going to be an easy lead. JP has done it again as we ride with Rafa. Let's hope that Aoki do take the long lap. Yep, Mashael has got the clear communication, so that's good. So Rafa's now coming through. That's going to be close with Rafa and Drogba. But John Peters is absolutely delighted as he comes through, having taken the lead right in the last knockings of the race off. Drogba will just get second, but Drogba and Rafa will be in the final, and it means Aoki will not be in the final. And that is critical for the team who are third in the championship and only 11 points behind John Peters. I know he's loving the surroundings of Nigeria. I was chatting with him last night. Let's chat with him again. JP, well done. That is absolutely incredible. I know you're already enjoying Lagos, as you were telling me last night. I bet you're enjoying it even more now, aren't you?
You know, it's pretty obvious. Winning always puts a smile on your face, but when you need to go and do it, you got to get serious, down and gritty. So, yeah, Lagos is a little bit more enjoyable, but we still got 2 more heats to make this happen. Over.
JP, Shelley here. Whose decision was it then to do the long lap right at the beginning of the race there? Because that was great strategy.
Every major decision we do goes off rock, paper, scissors. So it was rock for short, paper for regular, and scissors for long. So we do that in the TOC. We have no real strategy. It's just kind of go what you go for.
Okay, thank you very much. I was thinking it was something technical, and it obviously was rock, paper, scissors. He's certainly got one of the best sense of humours, hasn't he, here in E1. As they come in again, they really are riding the crest of a wave, aren't they, at the moment? Don't slip off the boat, guys, because it's tricky conditions as it is. Don't want to be falling into the lagoon here at Lagos. They're now getting the pilot out, and that means, of course, they're in the final. So they'll switch around, won't they, now? Because they alternate, don't they, Shelley, as the races go on. And it does mean then that John will now switch with Sarah Mizic. She'll go into final 1, which will determine their lane position for final 2. And it means that John will be back in the boat later on for the all-important big final when the points are given out.
And of course, due to all the weather conditions and changes, it was a UIM rule change that allowed them to change the pilots.
So Peters and Blue Rising win the race off. They, with Drogba and Rafa, are through to the final, and it's damage limitation for the likes of Alula, but particularly Aoki Racing, because their championship situation is going to suffer badly as a result of their non-appearance in the final here. Just like Laga Maggiore all over again. Okay, Shell, let's look back at some of the key moments from that race off. So tight, wasn't it, at the start? And we've seen a real difference in tactics and the boost. It's affecting people more than ever with this long drag of well over 600 metres down into turn 1.
Yeah, and as you can see, we are foil to foil here. Team Blue Rising dropped back, but I have to say, the true moment of this whole race was the strategy for Team Blue Rising. It wasn't rock, scissors, paper. That's been well thought out.
Are you sure? I mean, he said it was. But yeah, I think it's fair to say, take that one with a pinch of salt wherever Peters is involved. That's Drogba closest to us. And don't forget, as we said before, Didier is watching on the great vantage point from up at the top of the hotel here in Lagos. That's that moment we saw at the time. We saw the race birds moving around a lot, didn't we, under the pilots, but that was a bit of a scare. Look how close it was here at this point between Aoki closest to us and Blue Rising, with the gold top to their racebird in the background. Danny Kloss watching on, and head in his hands again for the Catalan pilot from Barcelona. He absolutely flung with real emotion his gloves onto the floor after his race earlier on. They're not in the final. Okay, Saunders, to you.
Mike, job done into the final, but there was a lot of action in that race and pretty neck and neck at the end for P2 and 3.
Absolutely stoked for this team to make a final. You know, we've had a few rough races, and you know, we're through to the big dance. We're through to where it matters. So super excited. The race itself had a cracking start, and then I could just feel, you know, we had a few issues with the boat yesterday with the trim stuff, and it's better today, but we're still having a few little niggles. So I really struggled, had a few moments, but just stoked. We're in the final.
Let's talk about the final when it comes to strategy, because you led for a lot of that race, but it didn't end that way. How are you going to rectify that for the final and make sure you get the win?
Yeah, not sure on strat. I have to leave that to the brains upstairs. For me, I just didn't quite have the pace. I didn't quite have the feel in the boat. So we'll chat through that, and then hopefully, you know, come final two when it matters, we can light it up.
Give us a sense of what it feels like to find this performance here in front of, you know, the boss, Didier here.
Oh, South Africa, Gabrielle, Didier, all that, so much support. Everyone's fantastic, and it gives so much.
Final as a team. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Oh, so nice to see Micah with a smile on his face. They are driving so well, aren't they, at Drogba? Maybe the presence of the big man himself is helping Oban Duncan, the 19-year-old, and Michael Wilkinson, the 29-year-old. There they are going into their debrief. They'll switch round because they are now going to take part in the two finals coming up. At the end of the day, 38 points will be given out to the first ever, the inaugural winner of E1 Lagos. What an event of surprises this has been so far. What a glorious atmosphere here in Lagos for the first time, where the Acceleration Festival is also taking place just down the road effectively from here. I can tell you, 18,000 people have applied for a ticket. We really have been very warmly welcomed here in Nigeria. I'm sure Roddy Basso, the CEO of E1, will be delighted.
We are super excited about being here in Lagos. I mean, the event now is happening, we made it. In terms of the technology and the boat, you know, this is the meeting point of sailing, motorsport and powerboating. Of course, using the foils, using the electric propulsion and all the intelligence coming from motorsport and naval architecture from powerboating, we find the sweet spot in order to be able to race in different conditions, in different waters, lakes, rivers and oceans, and this is making you know, the boat a very strong symbol of how water mobility can be in the future. We need to be a test bed for understanding technology, engineering integration, to inspire the solution that can affect billions of people's lives, the solutions of the future. We play this role. We're already talking with a lot of technology suppliers who wants to test their technology on our boats, and so this is super exciting for us. It means that we have the right platform for the mobility of the future again.
Well, you can say that again, Roddy. Thank you very much indeed. This is our 6th venue of 2025 off the back of Jeddah and Doha and Dubrovnik, Lago Maggiore and Monte Carlo last time out. And this is just setting up things beautifully for Miami in November. But as I've said, this is the most populous part of the whole of the African continent. Anything between 21 and 24 million people here. Now things really are getting serious as we move towards final one to determine the lane order for the big final, where the points will be distributed later on at this inaugural UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. And there is your lineup for final one. Before the main final, we'll have the place race, which includes the pink and blue race bird of the Aoki team. Danny Kloss will be looking to secure 12 points there. Real damage limitation though for them. What a weekend it's been so far though for the likes of Brazil. They had some real success with the pole position in qualifying thanks to Timmy Hansen. His new teammate Eva Miller-Hagen will be taking part in final one, and we can hear from her right now.
Yeva, you're starting final one from pole position. What's it going to take? And are you confident you can get Team Brazil's first win in a final in the season?
I mean, I try my best, and I'm very happy that Timmy have bring us straight to the final, and we don't must fight now in between. I'm pretty confident, and I think if I do a good start, everything will come, yes.
Now, of course, we saw you taking part in the championship last season, but things are very different with the race bird this season. How have you been adapting?
Team Brazil boat feel very, very different, much better. It's more stable, more speed, and it brings also the best result then, so I can enjoy more the racing.
Well, you've certainly had the pace, the performance, the strategy on display here this weekend. What's been the difference? Is it a change of approach that's brought this success?
Yes, I mean, it's the whole work of the team together. When it comes all together, then the result also comes.
Best of luck for Final One. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. One of the 5 rookies in the field and 2 times a European Championship winner. So watch out for Brazil in lane 1. This is all for your lane position for final 2 later on this afternoon. So for Rafa, they are fighting for the championship lead. They are fighting for the championship in 2025. Tom Schaap is going to be in the worst position in theory in lane 5. He wants to try and win this one to get a good starting position for Chris Lazaraga later on. Didier Drogba, Chelsea's top goal scorer, and of course he's done some magical things for the Ivory Coast national team as well in his time. He's watching on, and it's Oban Duncan, the 19-year-old Scottish pilot, in the hot seat for this. Jamaica's Sarah Mizier for Team Blue Rising. Tricky starting place for Sarah because she's right in the middle of the 5 race birds. Remember, this is the team who won for the first time, last time out in the Principality of Monaco. Emma Kymäläinen speaks better English than most Brits, I can tell you that, but very much hailing from Finland. She's been so cool, calm and collected all weekend long, including when a gearbox needed to be changed yesterday. Marcelo Claret oversees this team, and with Steve Curtis now the team principal, Brazil really are making strides. They were on the podium in Monaco last time out, and let's see now then what Eva Melere Hagen can do on her debut. She's in the final, how about that? So here's the fly through of our course, Shelley, here in Nigeria.
And we have a lovely kidney bean shaped course, which makes it fast and furious with some long sweeping turns at each end and not a very tight chicane, quite different from all the other courses we've had. 1 long lap, 1 short lap, you must take it, and that's all the strategy.
Can't wait to see what happens. The tension's really rising here now. Here we go then. Countdown is on. 22 seconds until this race begins. No points available. Certainly the fastest lap of the day, though, will give somebody a point. These guys and girls have the fastest lap at the moment. It's Brady, which provisionally puts them level, would you believe, on 136 championship points with Rafa. 3, 2, 1, and final one begins. Once again, Drogba making a very good getaway, and so are Brady on the inside line, not far off, touching there, and Brady, the left foil, digging into the water for Emma Kymäläinen, just about getting away with it. Or did I speak too soon? It's Blue Rising in second place. Brazil are trying to shoot up the inside line. The yellow and green racebird Drogba are on the outside. We're on board now with Rafa, with Tom Schaap. He's giving everybody plenty of space. He does not want to get involved in an incident as he did with Brazil back in Monaco. Side by side at the front. Brady closest to us. Blue Rising shooting up in the background. There is Oban Duncan, the Scottish teenager for Drogba, and I'm sure Didier, who's watching on, will be loving this.
This is great. That was a great start by Emma Kymäläinen there, and Team Brady, she just glided that right through. But Team Blue, yes, she's pulling away now. Team Blue Rising and Drogba are neck and neck going into this. Let's see how this strategy is going to play out when they can start taking their long lap and short laps.
which they will be able to do from lap 2 onwards. This is the start lap, which is why they're taking a longer route there up at the top of the course. And now the 617-metre drag right down from the last smart mark there, the green smart mark on turn 2, down towards turn 1, which is another left-hander. There's Tom Schaap at the back of the field at the moment, gets the boost on. We've seen this strategy evolving. It's something that was picked up very quickly by Brazil earlier on in the weekend, and everybody else now following suit, not using too much boost at the top of the course to save it for the longer run down into this first corner. Into the left-hander then, Brady have the advantage, and don't forget, whoever wins this race puts themselves in effectively pole position on the inside lane for the big final when the points are available later on this afternoon.
This is actually a really difficult course, Greg, because they're trying to use the boost in the long straights when they want to overtake somebody, but they have to save some for the corners, because as we've learned, you have to boost round the corner, lift the race bird up onto the foils and trim in. No, trim out, which is completely the opposite to any powerboating strategy normally. So very confusing for these guys, especially the ones who are previous races.
And it really is becoming fashionable now, isn't it, Shelley? If you are the leader, to take the short lap at the earliest possible point. That's exactly what Brady have just done. And look, an entirely different strategy for Team Blue Rising. They're doing the long lap. Drogba are following suit. You can see on the graphics at the top of the screen where we are in terms of short and long laps. It is approximately a 10-second gain for doing the short lap and a 12-second loss for doing the long lap. So now, this is the point in the proceedings where things all get a little bit mixed up. It's a little bit like the pit stop phase in a Formula 1 car race, and then at the end you need to see where everybody is going to emerge.
But I love the fact that Team Blue Rising have done exactly the same strategy as they did in the previous race, which made them win. So maybe they've cottoned on to something here.
They'll certainly be hoping for it, won't they? Here's the results predictor, but there is a long way still to go. There are still mistakes to be made. There are still sensational overtakes, no doubt, ahead of us. Good lead then for Brady, but they have already, of course, done the short lap, and it's over half a minute at the moment for Emma Kymäläinen. She's down towards the start-finish area now, so she's going for as long as she can. I suspect she'll do the long lap on the penultimate tour, or maybe even the last tour. But what a great debut, you have to say this is, for Ieva Milere-Harjin from Latvia, the 38-year-old. She's absolutely flying. She's got a lot of powerboat experience all the way back to 2014. She's won the Latvian, the Baltic and the German championships, third in the Endurance World Championship, twice a winner of the European Championship, Shelley. So she certainly knows what she's doing, flying the flag for Brazil here at the moment in second place.
But here comes Team Blue Rising up behind Brazil, and I actually think that Sarah Mazin might take that and take Brazil, because she is a very confident and strong racer.
Yes, and not only that, she still has one more short lap to her advantage, and Brazil still need to do another long lap, so I'm sure you're absolutely right. Team Blue Rising will be at least second, as Brady in the background there with the Finnish partner who we're now on board with. It is Emma Kymäläinen. She's coming through to do the long lap. So let's see what this does for the 36-year-old from Finland.
Well, with a 41-second lead, that was the perfect time to take that. She had a massive lead, get it out the way, get it done. So her team have called that absolutely spot on. Well done, Mission Control, for Team Brady.
The home favourites as the crowd watches on here in Lagos, and what action they are enjoying, whichever side of the lagoon they're watching from, whether it's on the Victoria Island side at the bottom of your screen or the Lagos Island side at the top of your screen. They're loving this. Brazil still in second place, and now coming around the long lap. Blue Rising, as we know, have already done theirs, so this is the moment in which Blue Rising moves up into second place. The leader with a clear advantage still, as you've already said. Blue Rising still have one more short lap, but look at the gap for Brady. That's one of the largest gaps I think I've ever seen in nearly 2 full seasons of V1 so far.
Yeah, I can't see Team Blue Rising catching Brady.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the track, as you can see at the moment. Blue Rising are going down towards turn 1 as we now get into the penultimate lap, and this is Drogba side by side with Rafa. Rafa at the bottom of your screen. Looking across from Drogba now to Rafa, who is going to get the verdict on the run down towards turn 1 on this 5th lap. We look across again from the right foil of Drogba. Oban Duncan here at the helm. There's Rafa with Tom Schaap. They're going to get close to contact now as they come down into the left-hander of turn one. We can tell you that on the timing screen at the moment, it is showing Team Blue Rising as the leaders. There's clearly been some confusion again on the timing screen. It's sorting itself out.
Yeah, I think it's sorting itself out because I think Team Brady is most definitely in the lead here. Team Brady had a 45-second lead and they are still in the lead. So don't panic at home. Team Brady is still in the lead. And we're going to get our graphics sorted out and back on the screen as soon as we can.
That will put Brady, of course, into the best possible lane position for when we get through to final two here in Nigeria. There they are, just putting a lap actually now on Drogba, who seems to be slowing with some sort of issue. Drogba, as Saunders revealed in our show on Saturday on YouTube, they actually had a problem with the trim, so let's hope for Drogba's team that hasn't come back to affect them once again. But we are now onto the final lap and we're looking for Brady. Here we are. Tom Brady will be overjoyed as they come through to win final one. Emma Kimalainen, what an amazingly dominant performance that was. The checkered flag is out. Very good job indeed.
Yep, she looked pleased. She looked absolutely chuffed with that, and the rest of the team all congratulating there in mission control. Well done, guys. Excellent job.
Everybody coming through to take the checkered flag. Here are Blue Rising. Remember, all of these teams are in the final later on this afternoon, and Drogba really are struggling, aren't they, with some sort of problem there, Shelley, in the closing stages of this first final. They're almost coasting to a standstill. But for Brady, well, what a recovery it's been after the gearbox problem. It was more than that, actually. It was the whole of the midsection. A key component of the drivetrain failed here yesterday. They've got that sorted out. So as a team, they have done an absolutely superb job so far. Let's jump on board with Emma. I'm sure she'll be delighted. Emma, after the struggles of yesterday, it's all looking very good, isn't it, so far for Team Brady?
Sorry, I'm parking the vehicle at the moment, and then yeah, the radio button is a bit lost. Yeah, looking good so far, but yeah, still one to go. This means only a pole position for Sam, but yeah, definitely felt good in the boat, and yeah, I have 100% trust in Sam and the team also in the final two.
Thank you very much, Emma. That was beautifully docked as well. I know it's been very difficult for all the pilots with all the movement here on the water. Look, the team trying to get that race bird into a secure position. Well, there you are. That sets things up very nicely for Brady, doesn't it, to come out of here as the championship leaders at the end of the weekend here at E1 Lagos GP. Wow, the timing screen has reset itself, which I must say I'm absolutely delighted to say, Shelley Jury-Lee. So we now can confirm we're not hesitant anymore that Brady wins, and it was an enormous gap there of 25.2 seconds ahead of Sarah Mizir. So Blue Rising was second, Brazil were third. What a great run that is for Ieva Melere Hagen in third place. Drogba are shown currently in fourth, and Schaap with Rafa down in fifth position. If there is any doubt on the timing situation, we'll let you know, but certainly we know that Brady have won. It's showing Blue Rising as second, Brazil is third, Drogba and Rafa as fourth and fifth. That does not mean anyone's missed the final or anything like that. All five are through to the final when the points will be available later on this afternoon. The starts are definitely pivotal though, aren't they? I know we always find ourselves saying this, but with that long drag here, as Steve Curtis now goes in to congratulate his protege, with that long drag, Shelley, down into turn one and the boost strategy, we've seen people saving boost, haven't we, on the back straight here to use it on that run to the line, because it's a much longer run to the finish line here than it is on pretty much any other course we've had so far in 2025.
Yes, and we also have to use the boost in the corners, as we have said so many times before, because you actually have to get the boat lifted and powered on as you come around those corners to counterbalance the power you're losing on the corner. You need to trim in, get the foils right up, trim out. I apologise, I'll get that right one day.
Well, it is confusing though, isn't it? Because of course these E1 electric powerboats are very different in the way they behave with the foils, the hydro foils, if you're joining us for the first time, sticking out of either side of the vessels, and it's completely different in terms of trim strategy and the effect it has with a regular powerboat. Completely different. So the action continues here at the UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. It's the penultimate round of this year's UIM E1 World Championship presented by PIF, and this is now the final hour or so of action, and we will soon know who's going to be leading the standings heading to the finale in Florida at Miami in November. We've had final one. They're getting ready now for the second final. Next up will be the place race to decide the overall 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th positions here on the continent of Africa for the first time.
Okay. Maria, it's great to have you here with us in Lagos. Hopefully you're enjoying the spectacle that E1 has brought to African shores.
Definitely, it's been amazing. Thank you so much, E1, for inviting me. And Lagos is the door, open door for the whole continent. I'm very happy, and we're glad to have you guys here as well.
Tell us what you thought so far of the event. It's quite exciting seeing these very futuristic, unique-looking race spurs on the water, isn't it?
Exactly. The excitement is amazing. Yesterday, the Team Brazil win, which is part of my community. I speak Portuguese, so it was a good thing. Today, I'm really for Team Brazil again.
Okay, interesting. So you're rooting for Team Brazil. Obviously, we've got Didier here, Didier Drogba for Team Drogba. So your allegiance is with Brazil today, but equally maybe across both.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, all of them are winners just to be here and be in Lagos. That's open door for the whole continent. It's a huge opportunity for the sports as well.
Well, it's very nice to have you here. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was Maria Borges there from Angola, chatting away with Saunders CB, the Forbes Africa magazine's top model of 2013. Obviously, that's Maria I'm talking about, not Saunders. But isn't it great to see so many celebrities and world-famous faces joining us, Shelley, here at E1? We've had a selection of celebrity guests all across the season so far, and not just the team owners. Really nice to hear their reaction. OK, Saunders, you're busy down there.
Sarah, another great performance for you in Team Blue Rising. Talk us through it.
It was a great race. There was some challenges out there with the water. It seems as if a lot of the boats you see it on, they're kind of like getting stuck on one foil. So we're just trying to like work around it, but I gave it my best and I'm happy with the result.
Another good use of that short lap early on in the race. Now, John said before it was about rock, paper, scissors. I'm not buying that for 1 minute.
You will see us playing rock, paper, scissors here and there to make certain decisions. And sometimes when we can't pick a strategy, we will actually do rock, paper, scissors. But when we have a spot up there, when John's up there, he is using his gut. So take it with a grain of salt.
Leaving some things to chance, but not everything.
No, not everything. But I love my team. If they say A, I'll do A. So we have a good strategy. We have a solid team, good communication. So I'm happy so far.
Great work again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Blue Rising really are riding the crest of a wave, aren't they, at the moment? If you're just switching on, perfect timing because we're getting towards the real business end now of this inaugural E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. This is essentially your grid now for Final 2 coming up later on this afternoon. Brady with the pole from Blue Rising, Brazil, Rafa and Drogba with a maximum 38 points available.
So the best moments of Final 1, which we've just witnessed, and a curious start to the race again. Absolutely excellent getaway, wasn't it, for Brady? But look, the foil digs in once, it's about to happen again. Look at the boat on the right-hand side of your screen. Oh, there again, and Emma doing a really good job to keep her foot flat down there on the right pedal. The accelerator is operated with the pedals. They have a car-like steering wheel, which has all sorts of dials and buttons on it in order to adjust the trim, to adjust the various other settings, the radio as well, which is key to communicate with all of the teams here in E1. And now we look across to Rafa, and another button they have on the wheel is the boost, and that was a perfect example of Rafa on the boost. But look at the race birds moving around underneath them as they come shooting past all of the team representatives and teammates watching on there in the launch zone. We have our lanes decided then for Final 2, and coming up very shortly is the place race. Very smart move, as you can see, sometimes to stay on that outside line and avoid all of the spray and improve your visibility for better drive off the corner, as Emma Kimmelainen comes home to win final one. And now the format is, with one female and one male pilot per team, you alternate as the weekend goes on. Each race you go through decides the starting order for the next one, and you swap pilot each time. They've made their pilot choices earlier on in the proceedings. So Emma now will join us effectively as a spectator on the edge of the sofa, as it were, and watch her teammate from Wales, Sam Coleman, who will be in final two, where the points available will be 38 for the win, 30 for second, 24, 19 and 15 for third, fourth and fifth. Before that, though, we will have what's known as the place race for the 4 teams who have not yet qualified and will not be going through to the final, where 12 points, 9, 7 and 5 will be the order of the day. And the crucial thing there is that Aoki Racing, Steve Aoki, the legendary DJ and record producer, his team are third in the championship, 11 points off the leaders, and they're not going to be in the final. They're only in the place race, so it's going to be a real damage limitation exercise for Danny Kloss, who will be out there next. Giacomo Sacchi is here. He's an up-and-coming F2 powerboat racer who's really getting to grips very, very quickly indeed with E1. This is the Westbrook team, who had issues earlier on, and it certainly, I can tell you, was not Sarah's fault, as she now watches on as we are. Lucas Ordonez will be out there for the place race outing for them, and so will Alula with another rapid rookie, the Norwegian Andre Solvang. He's been incredible so far. Less than 2 minutes to go here in Nigeria for the place race to get underway for the penultimate round of the UIM E1 World Championship presented by PIF. We're in the continent of Africa for the first time ever. UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank, and this is your starting order for the place race. Aoki on the inside lane. Miami wants some positivity, don't they, for the end of their weekend ahead of their home event next time out. Watch out then for Giacomo Sacchi. Shelley has reliably informed me that he's good friends with Charles Leclerc, the 8-time F1 Grand Prix winner. They're both from Monaco. For Westbrook Racing, they had some issues earlier on in the weekend that were not their fault. Lucas Ordonez now is just looking to get through to win this place race, and hopefully for him, bank 12 all-important points by winning it. He's in lane 3. 21-year-old Andre Solvang is an F2 powerboat superstar. He's up and coming and now training to be the captain of a cruise ship as well. This is a little bit smaller, isn't it? Let's see what the Norwegian can do from the second lane. But Danny Kloss will be on board the iconic pink and blue Aoki Racebird. Here he is, former test and reserve driver for Williams and HRT in the world of Formula One car racing. Here we go then for the place race here in Lagos. This is to decide the overall 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th places for this event. 12 points available for winning this one. The clock counting down. We have a start and we are go for the place race with Westbrook. Will Smith's team absolutely shooting ahead. Lucas Ordonez is clearly annoyed and angry after all the misfortune they've had in that team so far this weekend, but he's lost some momentum there. He's using all of his boost and he's moving across and across and across, and there was almost contact. Aoki dives down the inside. Danny Kloss saying, get me out of here, it's chaos, I'll go at the inside line, and he's done so. On the outside is the Giacomo Sacchi machine, and he's just about keeping himself out of trouble. We're on board with Miami now, looking back at Alula and Andre Solvang. So side by side now for Sacchi on the right and Ordonez on the left. Danny Kloss has made an excellent start, Shelley, trying to get himself out of all that drama.
Yeah, he made a great start here, but look at Westbrook on the boost coming up. So is Danny Kloss on the boost, but the Westbrook boat seems to be catching him when they are both on the boost. That was a great race start with them. I didn't know who was going to get it. But Westbrook did some great lane changing there and trying to shut the door down and put some people in dirty water. So good moves by them.
So it's the two Spanish racing drivers who are good friends off the water. Nearly said the track there, but it's water that they're racing on now. Danny Kloss pulls away and he's on the boost. You see the green boost bar decreasing there on the graphics. And Solvang for Alula is coming up behind the Miami Racebird in the background. Remember the points available at 12, 9, 7 and 5 for this place race. It's the 4 teams that have not gone through to join the final. Looking down from the 12th floor, what a great view Westbrook Racing have, and they're looking of course for Lucas Ordóñez. Now the last few races earlier on today, Shelley, we've seen the leader take the short lap at the earliest possible opportunity. We'll see whether Danny Kloss chooses to do that in a moment. If he takes the short lap, he'll follow those light blue arrows you see there on the graphics. Let's see what he does.
I would put money on it that he will do it, because that is definitely the way forward. Take your short lap, get an even bigger lead, get into that lovely clean water and get as big as lead you can before you take your long lap. And that's what he's done.
Did you actually put money on it? Because you've won. You didn't, did you? Oh dear. Well, think about that for next time. Westbrook in the meantime have not taken their short lap. As we look back now, listen, team radio there, we were looking across the left hydrofoil. And Shelley, you were mentioning earlier on that the current has now changed direction. That's Miami doing the short lap, Westbrook on the standard race lap, and that's worked out well for Giacomo Sacchi. Watch out for Westbrook on your right, says the effective radio communication from Miami, but Ordóñez with Westbrook is on the boost and has more momentum down this 600-metre start-finish. That's not worked out well, though, has it, for Westbrook now? They're going to be in all of that turbulent water.
Yeah, I think they were hoping just to get in front of Aoki, and they just didn't. So they,
Miami now, Lucas. Well done.
Yeah, you can listen on that radio there. It's always good to hear what Mission Control are saying to their pilots, giving them all the heads up of where the other boats are and what we're going to do next. So great team effort working race here in the E1 Series. Aoki look like they're doing their long lap. No, sorry, apologies. They're on that standard lap still, which is exactly what I would do. He needs to get an excellent lead. He's got a 16-second lead at the moment. He needs to extend that just by a couple of seconds, and he will be able to do the long lap with no trouble at all.
The voice you heard a moment ago on the Westbrook radio was Matt Wright, who along with Farhan Sheikh is one of the 2 race engineers for Westbrook. They are the 2 men who have the task of communicating with the pilot down on the water. Miami, quite clearly, as you can see, are doing their long lap on the left-hand side of your screen with Giacomo Sacchi, who's making his debut. We're on board now with the 26-year-old, I should say, F2 powerboat driver. As we said before, Shelley, you were telling me earlier on, he's good friends in Monaco. He is from Monaco and good friends with Charles Leclerc, 8 times, of course, a Formula 1 Grand Prix winner for Ferrari. What's the situation? Second half of the place race now. We're on that 4, and Danny Kloss is still leading but has a long lap to do. Let's see whether he follows the green arrows. I don't think he will at this point, but we'll see. If he feels he's being held up by Alula, he might want to actually take the long lap. And yes, is he doing so? No, he's not. There's the long lap there. You see the green markers off to the right-hand side. And here's what he's doing then. He's operating the throttle with his right foot. He's on full throttle, and he's got his finger down on the boost, hasn't he? Look how much boost he's using coming out of the last corner.
Using lots of boost. He's in sort of equal trim, a little bit of positive trim there, as he's on that straight bit now, because he will want to save the boost and go into positive trim as he goes around that corner, trying to lift the foils and keep the foils up on top of the water. You do not want the hull of the E1 Racebird to be in the water. You want to be able to see air under there, because that's at its optimum speed, and flying along the water is where you get the best ride.
I'm going to say an early happy birthday to Danny. He'll be turning 37 later this month, but before we get to Miami for the 7th round, look at him there up on the foils. He's coming up to put a lap now on Andre Solvang and Alula. Andre's been saying that his other powerboat experience doesn't make too much difference in terms of the actual operation of these E1 battery operated electric Racebirds, but certainly helps in terms of the combat. I hope he knows that, that was close. I was going to say, I hope he knows that Aoki is right behind, and now Danny, sure enough, is doing the long lap to avoid the wake and the wash there. That's sensible stuff, isn't it, from the Catalan, because he could see that there could have been trouble. Alula's now got Westbrook to deal with. Westbrook is a lap ahead. Oh, Westbrook might lose some time there. They've done their short lap. So now the situation is final lap. Westbrook have taken the lead. We're on board with Alula, who are a lap down, but with a great view of the leader. However, Westbrook have one more long lap to do. They'll have to do it on this last lap. Are Westbrook far enough ahead of Aoki? It's a 10.7 second margin, Shelley. It could be very close. I would not want to put money on this.
This is going to be very close because we know that it takes 12 seconds to do the long lap. So this is literally neck and neck between Lucas Ordonez and Danny Kloss. Who is going to come out in front here? This is all to play for on the final lap now of the E1 series here in the Lagos GP.
Oh, if you're not excited by now, you jolly well should be. As Sarah Price watches on, she's absolutely desperate. This is 12 points versus 9 points, and every point counts in E1. Aoki really could do with winning this race, knowing that the likes of Rafa and Brady are through to the final. Here we go then. You can hear the team radios, the team's communicating with the pilots. Westbrook taking the long lap. They'll lose about 12 seconds, as Shelley has said. Aoki now are on the standard lap, and I think Westbrook have got this, haven't they? Yes, they have. On the boost, on the drag to the line. Danny has more boost available. Westbrook, no, they've done it. Westbrook wins the place race here in Nigeria. Danny Kloss and Aoki are dropped to second place there in the last seconds. It doesn't get much closer than that. Well, that's as pleased as Lucas is going to be under the circumstances. I've had a tricky event here. Picked up a bit of debris earlier on, which messed things up here for Sarah. They also had a battery glitch yesterday. Oh dear, and not for the first time today. Danny loosening his safety belts, and he knows they needed the 12 points there, not 9. That damages their situation. They're currently third in the championship. Wonder how Lucas is feeling. Let's jump on board. Lucas, I know it's been a day of frustration and not really your fault or your teammates, but I guess at least you've salvaged 12 points there.
Yeah, Greg, that's correct. After doing pole position, having proved that we were one of the fastest this weekend, it's a shame not being in the finals, but this feels good for the team, for Westbrook Racing. It was a tight fight with Danny Aoki, but we made a good strategy in this race and worked well for us. So yeah, now back home. It was great to race here in Lagos. It's a shame not winning here, but next year we'll come back.
Excellent attitude, Mr. Ordonez. Thank you very much indeed. As they secure 12 points there, it gives us away. We're glad to see Lucas smiling, the 40-year-old from Spain, at the end of what's been a rather frustrating day for everybody there. Phil, Allen and everybody at Westbrook. And all the best as well, I know, to Guy, who's not working with them here this weekend, but will be back for Miami in November. And ever the loyal teammate, Sarah, is straight there to open the hatch on the top of the Racebird and release Lucas. And that's nice to see some smiles there, because they've had a very frustrating day for one reason or another. Had a few electrical problems back in Monaco, with a problem with the wiring loom and a battery issue, which didn't delay them too badly here yesterday, but certainly their issues of the earlier races today did. That was more due to the conditions than anything else. Westbrook winning then from Aoki, Miami and Alula, completing your top 4. But the brilliance of the point system here in E1 is that you will score points as long as you can just make the finish. 12, 9, 7 and 5 in this place race. So Will Smith's Westbrook Racing with Lucas Ordonez on board win the place race. That's 12 points. Aoki Racing and Danny Kloss, it's back to the drawing board for them. If they're going to win the title this season, they've got a heck of a lot of work to do in November in Miami. Team Miami going there, of course, hoping for an overall podium as Alula completes your top 4. The final is coming your way from E1 here in Nigeria. Well, take a breath and look back at the place race. Shelley, what did you make of it? We saw some interesting strategies again. They were very close to touching, weren't they? They're off the line.
Yeah, they have to keep their line up until that first mark. So I think Westbrook were trying to move in and just basically send Aoki off their line. You know, maybe scaring them. He wanted to just push him and go, I'm here, don't forget me. But it didn't really work because Aoki just pushed them through.
These Racebirds do have mirrors, as we can see for ourselves there. Perfect view from the onboard camera. How useful are the mirrors?
They're okay, but they're not brilliant because sometimes you might have water and spray all up the back and all over the mirror so you can't see anything, and that's where your team come into complete play. You know, your spotter saying to you, he's on the left, he's on the right, she's in front, she's gaining on you. And that's the key to the team.
The pilots are very, very busy though, aren't they, in the cockpits? I was talking during the race there about the fact they're strapped in with the safety belts. We know the temperatures rise, don't they, with these closed cockpits, with the canopy as it's known. And of course, so many dials and buttons and paddles, aren't there, on each side of the wheel? So they're busy. And then obviously focusing on what's actually going on around you.
They are busy, that's why their spotter and their mission control are so important to call the long lap and the short lap, because it's very difficult to know where all the other race boats are. So that's hard for you to choose, and it's all down to your mission control team effort.
And that's why the boys, the smart marks as they are known, are marked in different colours as well to make it easier for the pilots to see where they are. Green, for example, is the long lap. We have white for the standard lap and blue for the short lap. This is the view across the left-hand side of Lucas's race bird. I'm pleased for his sake that he got the maximum points there, I have to say. Westbrook Racing have won here in Nigeria in the place race, second for Aoki.
Danny, after missing out on the final, that place race was all about damage limitation. The first wasn't meant to be, but still points for second.
Yes, I mean, it's been happening to us all the weekend. Good races, we were leading, and we had a good opportunity before to go straight to the finals. But strategy-wise, didn't work out. And now it just happened the same. You know, I was leading by far, and yeah, we messed it up in the strategy. You know, because at the end we had pace, but we just got behind someone's waves. Let's call it like that, and it penalized us. So you know, these weekends happen. I'm a little bit very disappointed because it's another weekend that we don't go to a final. It's been 3 in a row after being 3 podiums in before, winning 2 races. I mean, a bit disappointed this weekend. So let's see, last event, the finale in Miami. I hope that my home race brings me a lot more luck.
Looking at bigger picture, that last race in Miami, obviously talking about the championship, put yourself a little bit on the back foot with more work to do now in that final round.
Well, I mean, many things have to happen this weekend for us to be title contenders in Miami. Now we are close, but they are pulling. So let's see. We never know. We never know what's going to happen. In E1, there's many things happening every weekend that nobody of us expect. So because sometimes one team is there, sometimes it's the other, some more are regular. So we will see. We will see Miami. Wish the best.
Well said. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Danny. Thank you to Saunders as well. I think putting a bit of a brave face on it there after a tricky time here this afternoon. Well, as we get ready for the big final and the major points to be handed out, what a super competitive season we've had so far in 25.
This year, the competition will be way higher.
If I do something, it's only for the win.
The ambition is always the same, fight for the first positions. The sky's the limit. Let's win this whole thing.
Love them all, but they could all kiss my ass.
The champs are here, and we're here to win again.
Let's go, vamos, baby, vamos.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant pace.
My heart rate's going up.
Bum, 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 bum.
She's just piloted this one to perfection.
Dale!
Best win of my career so far.
It's game, set, and match for Cristina Lassaraga.
I'm cool with Rafa. We wouldn't have been able to handle it if Brady won.
The reigning champions, they've done it. Tom Brady will be overjoyed.
We've got a lot to be proud of.
Oh, big contact! Huge into the back.
Oh!
What is happening?
Oh! Oh my gosh!
What else can happen today?
We are going foil to foil.
No! Danny's just an awful driver.
We all want to be champions of the water.
Steve Aoki's team have turned up the volume.
What we're going to do this week? I think we're just going to win.
spectacular performance by Sarah Mizet.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Team Blue Rising are winners for the first time.
Yeah, John.
Brady a second to take the championship lead.
Right up to the end, it all matters.
Woo.
Of course, it is wonderful to be here in Lagos. We have Final 2 coming very, very soon, Emma. And after your stint in Final 1, you had an unbelievably strong lead. It's going to be hard for Sam to replicate that in Final 2.
I know. I trust Sam fully, and the boat feels good. But yeah, there's definitely some extra challenges on the way with kind of like, because it's been, you know, thunderstorms in the morning and raining all night and stuff. So yeah, obviously this is a river, so there's a lot of litter going on and around, and I got stuck with one in the foil as well, and had to do pretty severe maneuvers to get it out. And luckily the pace was there afterwards. And now just Sam needs to do his great job that he always does.
Not to look too far ahead into the future, but of course we are coming to the end of the season. The championship is up for grabs. Now, last season you were incredibly strong as a team. It took you up to Lake Maggiore to get your first win this season. What's the feeling like now? Do you feel like, you know, this is number 2 waiting to happen?
Well, no one knows. Like, this is E1. Anything can happen. That's the whole story of E1. You could see, like, yesterday we were like, oh my God, is really going to make it? Like, it was tough for us. We were last ones in the quali, and then luckily I was able to pull us into P6. But it's all about racing. You just need to every time deliver, and that's what we are good at as a team.
It was a great turnaround. Well, best of luck to Sam in Final 2. We're going to have a walk around. Thank you, Emma, on the launch note. Tom, let's have a quick chat with you, because you know, this is a very difficult time for any team, because you've got to get yourself in the game for what is essentially a place where anything can happen in Final 2.
Yeah, to be honest, today it's a bit difficult. I mean, yesterday we struggling until the start of the weekend for sure. Yesterday I tried to make a lap. I don't know how fast lap, but today no, I cannot drive the boat as I know. To be honest, I don't understand anything inside, because the boat was so slow. I struggling, not able to keep on the foil. So I don't know. I use the same seating as what I do in the qualification. I don't know if today changing. So now we will change a new seating for Chris. But obviously we don't have the pace this weekend compared to Timmy and Team Brady. They are much flying. So we will see. Difficult weekend for us, but. You know, in final now everything can happen, and I am maybe with the new seating, and I know Chris will make the best, and she has super fast drivers, so anything can happen, and we need to take some point for the championship, because at the end nothing is down. So, but it's difficult weekend, but we have a strong team behind, so let's see the race.
Let's talk about the bigger picture, because of course your closest competitor in the championship is of course Team Brady, just over there. When it comes to this final, is the team strategy to try and beat them, knowing that's where the championship is, or is it just race by race?
Yeah, obviously it's race by race, but I mean, this weekend we don't have the pace, so they are faster, so we need to make a good strategy. The kids to gain some point. We need to have point at the end, because we are looking for Miami. We will recover probably our boat. If we will recover our boat, this will change the game, because every race we change boat, we adapt the seating. So let's see. We need to take point and make race by race.
All the best. Thank you very much, Tom. Let's have a look down here, see who else we can talk to, because the pilots are now getting into the race birds, ready for this Final 2. And yes, everyone taking part is now safely in their seats, ready to go for the heat of this final. It's very, very exciting. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm looking at Team Brazil, actually, based on the pace they've had, especially going to the first turn. Let's see what Timmy Hansen can do. He's been on fire so far this weekend. But there is a championship battle up for grabs when it comes to Team Rafa and Team Brady. Let's see what happens.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Saunders. I'm glad the rain has gone away for you as well. And happy birthday once again, by the way, our friend from Thursday, as we get ready to go then here in Nigeria. It's the first time E1 has ever visited the African continent, and the view from the Ocean Club is particularly spectacular. Didier Drogba here watching his team in the final, and we have two teams in the final who've never won an E1 GP before. One of them is Drogba, supported by Global Africa, and Brazil as well with Timmy Hansen. Drogba are in the outside lane with Micah Wilkinson 5th, lane 5, and Brazil will be in lane 3, right in the middle. Didier, some stunning goals, more goals, in fact, than anyone else in the whole of history for the Chelsea Football Club. But of course, he's had some real magic before as well for the Ivory Coast national team. And how special would it be if this Didier Drogba Foundation-backed racebird could actually take victory here in Nigeria? We heard from Saunders CB there down in the launch zone. Shelley Jury-Lee is alongside Greg Haynes here in the commentary box, and we have just under 6 minutes to go. And we keep saying we wouldn't want to put money on things, but I can't stress how open this is, with Brady, Team Blue Rising, Brazil, Rafa and Drogba, Shelley, all in the final. This is it. This is the big one.
This is the big one, but of course, where is this going to lead us at the end going into Miami? It is going to be so close. Nothing is going to be decided till that final race weekend, and that is so great. In any kind of motorsport, everyone wants to see the final be the big decider.
7th and 8th of November, incidentally, for Miami, which is a Friday-Saturday format. Sometimes it's Friday-Saturday, other times, like right here, right now, it's Saturday-Sunday. And look at the reception we have seen here, with no less, I can tell you, than 18,000 people applying for tickets for the whole of the Acceleration Festival. It's absolutely superb, isn't it? What an atmosphere, what a buzz, Shelley.
I just love it. There's like people everywhere, all along that front there watching. It just a great turnout, and everyone has been saying, all the racers, all the pilots, all the officials have been saying what a fantastic welcome we have here in Lagos.
Lagos, certainly the most populous urban area, would you believe, on the whole of the African continent, with anything between 21 and 24 million people living in this part of the world. Just to put that into perspective, that is well over double the population of the whole of the metropolitan area of London in the UK. It's incredible here. So, are Team Drogba Global Africa going to do it? Michael Wilkinson won a bronze medal for sailing at the 2024 Olympic Games. Can he come back from a recent illness to take victory? What a lovely story that would be, with Didier Drogba here as well. Team Rafa were absolutely made up with emotion for their first ever win of the season back in Doha in Qatar in round 2. Tom Chap did a great job in his first final. What can Chris Lazaraga do now? They did have some direction changes though. The boat was pulling to one side. Hopefully that's now been sorted. Brazil aiming, as Drogba are, for a first ever victory. What a story that would be as Timmy Hansen rejoins us. He was away on rallycross duties in Hungary when we were in Monaco last time out. Cricket superstar Virat Kohli heads up Team Blue Rising. Do not be surprised if John Peters here, with that warp sense of humour of his, is leading on the run down to turn 1. He makes the most incredible starts to these E1 events. But Tom Brady's squad are in the pole position. Sam Coleman from Wales taking over now in the cockpit, and he is absolutely determined to come through and score the maximum possible, 38 points. They're also hoping for fastest lap, which Danny Kloss for Aoki has just taken back in the place race. Fastest lap of the day here will give some team an additional championship point. Is that a bit of debris there as well, or a bit of damage, look, on the right foil closest to us on the Team Brady Racebird? Final 2 is just a minute and a half away here at the inaugural E1 Lagos GP, presented by First Bank. Shelley Jury-Lee and Greg Haynes are with you, and here's our course.
Here we go into this fast and furious lap here. It's very open and it's anyone's game. One long lap, one short lap, that's all that is down to the wire.
It certainly is. And the tension is building. 55 seconds to go. And let me just remind you, as if you needed reminding, that the points available here are 1 for the fastest lap today. So we'll see if that can change. That's heading the way of Aoki Racing at the moment. But far more importantly, 38 for the win, 30 for second, 24 for third, 19 and 15 for fourth and fifth places. Who is going to win this first ever E1 event on the continent of Africa? It's Brady, Blue Rising, Brazil, Rafa and Drogba, with Didier Drogba himself watching on from the sidelines. They are waiting patiently. Who's going to lose patience with just 12 seconds to go, and then we will be green for the first ever UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. 3, 2, 1, go now. Here in Nigeria, and Brazil punching through to the front. Rafa with the orange racebird had the momentum, but now they've dropped down off the foil, so Chris Lazaraga drops back. Brazil straight towards us with a clear advantage. Who's going to get the verdict for second place? Brady do at the moment with Sam Coleman. So Miami are third. Blue Rising and John Peters, that was not one of his better starts, I have to say, but let's see if he can repeat what he did back at Monaco and come through from the back to lead by the end of the opening lap. Well, he's certainly starting to attack now as he comes up alongside Drogba. We're with Blue Rising. Drogba off to the right-hand side somewhere.
And that was actually a great move by Micah and Drogba. He actually shut the door and put them all in dirty water, so great move. But it's got to be Timmy in Brazil. That was a beautiful, faultless start.
Brazil and Drogba are aiming for their first ever E1 Series victory. Are we going to see history made here this afternoon in Nigeria? Brazil then with the advantage. Easy to spot them, the bright luminous yellow and green racebird Brady on the boost, and Brady have more boost left than Brazil. They applied it later coming out of that last corner. There's an investigation going on, I can tell you, here for Brazil. Did they jump the start? That's the question. Look out for green flags in the vicinity. Well, the green flag is up in the background. The question is, had it gone up when the bow, the nose of that boat, crossed the line? There is an investigation going on at the moment. No further actions. That's excellent news for Marcelo Clary's team, Brazil, and great news as well. Great job from the stewards to check that and get a verdict as quickly as they have. That was an extra scare they didn't need, isn't it?
I was like, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? And yeah, that was so tight. Here we are on lap 2. Brazil and Timmy Hansen have made a beautiful lead here, 3 seconds already ahead of Brady. He's probably going into his short lap right now. Yes, he is. He's going to do that short lap and get an even better lead, but Brady's following him.
I can honestly say I've never seen Sam Coleman as revved up as he is here this afternoon in Lagos. Brazil, what a story it would be if they win for the first time. Brady here, they wouldn't be winning for the first time. 4 times GP winners in E1. Anyone taking the long lap on that initial first opportunity, which was the second lap of the race? The answer is yes, as you can see for yourself. Team Blue Rising and John Peters are taking the long lap. That might be quite close at the merge point there with Rafa, with Chris Lazaraga. It's going to be very close, isn't it? Drogba still third, and who's got that 4th place? Here's the answer. Team Blue Rising at the bottom of the screen, and they have got the momentum. However, they're running out of boost. Chris Lazaraga's got more boost remaining now, so don't be surprised to see Team Rafa blasting ahead, as long, Shelley, as they can stay up on the foils.
But no, Team Blue Rising are just pulling ahead there. That is very tight. Brazil in a great position there. What's the lead? 5 seconds on Sam Coleman. Timmy Hansen there with Brazil. It's not a big enough lead yet to do the long lap. He needs to pull away from Sam.
Yeah, so is Sam just shadowing Timmy? Is Sam going to do something different to Timmy? You can see the boost being applied there, bottom right of your screen. He's now saving some, and approximately it takes double the amount of time you've just used. So let's just say you're on the boost for 3 seconds. It will take 6 seconds to recharge to the amount you were on. We're already on to the 4th of the 6 laps. There's Brazil. Behind Brazil is Brady, and the gap is just shy of 7 seconds. Then it is Drogba third, Blue Rising 4th, Rafa are in 5th place. We'll have to keep an eye on Blue Rising though, because John Peters is the only pilot in the race so far who has already got his long lap out of the way, and that's why the predictor is forecasting a move up to at least 3rd place for the American.
But Team Brazil have never won a GP before. I don't think they've even ever won a race before, so this is so exciting for them. Their team are going to be going ecstatic. It's all about now keeping the boat flying on the foils, keeping the racebird level, level and not making any mistakes. When it's a one design class, this is now coming down to driver skill and mission control strategy.
Struggling in the wash a bit, we're hearing there on the radio in the background. Steve Curtis, of course, switched from Westbrook Racing to Brazil. It was the talk of E1 back at Lago Maggiore.
9 seconds gap.
Oh, Brazil seem to be slowing just a little bit there as they use up all of their boost. And look at Drogba there. They've just come in from the short lap, and Drogba are just slotting in behind Brady. So we're on board now with Drogba. They, like Brazil, are also aiming for their first ever victory here in E1. There's Brazil. They've got going in, built up a little bit of speed after that momentary blip.
Your line.
Oh, was there a contact there? There's been a moment with Drogba and Brady for sure. Your line, they told Micah Wilkinson. We were on board looking into the visor. I think they might have just touched there.
I think they did, but they were saying clearly to Micah, it's your line, it's your line. So Sam would have had to pull back there or give space to him. If we're lucky, we might get a replay of what happened actually there, because it definitely looked like close contact. We're on lap 5 of 6 here. Brazil have got a lead of 9 seconds above Drogba. 9 seconds in front.
Yeah, that's really backfired, hasn't it, then, for Brady there with that moment, because Drogba has obviously now jumped in front of them. They've each done a short lap. Is Sam in frustration, I wonder, going to take the long lap and try and get that out of the way? No, I don't think he is. He's going on the normal race lap. We're on to the final lap then now here. No, he has done the long lap. Look at Brady on the left-hand side of your screen. Blue Rising has gone through as well. That is really backfired for Brady. They're down into 4th position, and I don't think they're going to do anything better than that now. The question is, who is going to win? Timmy Hansen leads Micah Wilkinson. He's catching him, and the gap has come down to 6.5 seconds. Very strong last lap for Wilkinson at this point. Now here's a replay, Shelley. Let's just have a quick look at this. Drogba and Brady, and this is the contact we saw from on board. They said your line, didn't they, for Drogba?
Well, it's definitely Drogba's line because he's on the inside and he was ahead of Brady. There you can see Emma's frustration. She knew that Sam should have given him some space and he didn't. And it basically ruined Sam's race.
And Emma Kimmerleinen can't believe it, but we're now into the last half of the last lap, and history is in the making because the two teams who are in the front 2 positions, each of them have never won a GP here in E1, but Brazil now is just a few seconds away from winning after Team Blue Rising won in Monaco. We're going to have another new winner. They had the 3 points in qualifying on Saturday, and now they're going to have the 38 for winning the inaugural, would you believe, UIM E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. Brazil are victorious for the first time. Legend indeed. Excuse any of the flowery language you may have heard there on the radio, but who can blame them, Shelley? Brazil are victorious for the first time ever. Blue Rising have got the verdict and blasted past Drogba on the very last run to the line. Brady will be annoyed with 4th, and Rafa completing your top 5. Look at Emma. They've not had the easiest of weekends.
My head, they dance,